Hey, wanna play a game? Sure, what's it called? Get bit. How do you play that? Don't get bit. Ah! Huh? Ah! Wow. The game I'm looking at today is Get Bit by Mayday Games. It is a 2 to 7 player game. It's fairly light, very easy to learn, plays in about 15 minutes. And the thing that's probably going to appeal to most gamers, that's going to make them actually, glance at this thing, is these cute little robots that come with it. They're pretty neat. They have completely bendable appendages, and they actually snap off, which is a part of the gameplay mechanic. And I'll highlight them in my rules explanation, which you'll see right about now. Just to highlight the components that you get with this game, you get the 6 robots shown here that are all posable. Their joints actually bend into various different positions. You get a shark, and you get a deck of cards. The goal of Get Bit is to be the last player to get eaten by this hungry shark, who will always bite the player who's closest to him at the end of every round, except for the very first round. And the way players get away from this shark is by playing their hand of cards. Players simultaneously select a card and put it to the table just to indicate that they've selected a card. And when everyone has done so, they flip them over. And then they resolve the cards in card order from lowest to highest. So the lowest card here is a 1, and so that means that green can jump to the front of the line. Now the next lowest number in order are the 2s. If any players tie, like yellow and white have, that means that they lose their turn and they get skipped. And to finish the round, we'll go red, who's at a 4, he jumps to the front. We slide everyone back just to make room on the table. And that is the end of round 1. Round 1 is a wash, and it's the only round in which someone doesn't get bit. Now in round 2, players again simultaneously choose cards, and they will play them on top of their existing cards so that other players can see what everyone else has played, and this will form some of the strategy of the game. So I'll have red play like this, white, yellow, and green. And so to resolve this, we'll just look at the lowest. So red and yellow have played 1s, which means they don't move. White has played a 3, which makes them jump to the front of the line. And green has played a 4, which moves them to the front of the line. Yellow is closest to the shark, so he gets bit. And so what happens is he actually removes a limb. And so the scoring mechanic of this game is literally snapping one of the limbs off. And then because he got bit, he's going to jump to the front of the line, and he's going to get his cards back. I'll demonstrate one more round here. So red plays a 2, white plays a 5, yellow a 4, and green a 2. So lowest numbers, red and green played 2s, so they don't move. Yellow played a 4, jumps to the front, so he's actually still there. And then white played a 5, so he jumps to the front. Red's in the back. He gets bit. We'll just snap off an arm here. He gets propelled to the front. And then red gets all his cards back. The only other note with cards is if any player only has 1 card in their hand at some point, they also get to take all their cards back. In a 4-player game, the first 2 players will get eliminated when they've lost all their limbs. So both arms come off and both legs. And so when you're just a bobber, then you're out. The game continues as normal for 3 players until someone else is removed. And then when there's only 2 players left, it is the very next person to get bit that gets eliminated, and then the final person remaining is the winner. It's hard to get this across with just a dry rules explanation of the game, but this is a very strong deduction style game where the entire point of it is trying to read your opponents and try to figure out what they're going to play, because the only way that you're getting to the front of the line of swimmers is to make sure you don't tie with anyone else and to strategically just play your cards so that you're always just that little bit ahead and you're not the guy at the back. And that's a real draw to me. I've always loved deduction style games, and this is probably the most simplest of all of them. And the reason why that is a plus is because I can play this with virtually anybody. I've played this with old people, young people, middle-aged people, and in general, everyone that I've played with has liked it. I think there was one guy who just was like, bah, this is a kid's game, but I don't see it. Especially when you get down to like the final three, all of a sudden it just gets all tense, and it's like, ooh, what are you gonna play? What are you gonna play? I gotta do this right. So I really like that part. The other part that I really liked about this deduction style game is it's not hidden information. A lot of games there's like a memory component where like you have to remember what everyone else has played, but it's right in the rules. You get to see everything that's on the table, and yeah, you're allowed to stare at that and just make your decisions based on that. So it's another small little tweak to the rules that I really like. And yeah, as I mentioned, the robots, you put these in anyone's hands, kids or adults, and they're gonna play with them. There's a very specific draw to them, and that's something that I've learned in life is adults are just simply big kids, and we try to fight our urge to play with toys, but it's there. We like our toys, and board games give us an amazing opportunity to play with toys and not look like complete idiots. But yeah, I love these things. They're neat. I've played this game with a few different numbers. I've played it with 6 players, I've played it with 4, and then I've played it with 2. The 4-player game and the 6-player game, they felt pretty much the same. It was pretty light for most of the game, and then when you get down to the final 3, it's always the final 3, all of a sudden it's like, okay, whoa, gotta think. But with the 2-player game, what you're doing is you're actually in control of 2 sets of robots, and you're playing cards simultaneously. It's the only way that you can have a 2-player game and have that whole jockeying for position. But what I found is throughout the entirety of the 2-player game, I was very strongly thinking about the cards I'm playing, and I'm really watching what my opponent has played, and it just made that entire experience just a little bit more heavy and more my style of game. I like heavy games that make you think, and by no stretch of the imagination is Get Bit a heavy game, but it still did engage my brain, which I really did like. So in conclusion, I like this game as a light filler. If I'm looking into my collection and grabbing a filler, probably gonna come up with this one, at least for the next little bit. And it's relatively cheap, and it's stocking stuffer size, so Christmas season's upon us, and I think it'd be a surefire hit with virtually any person that you grab it for. It's not a huge time investment, 10-15 minutes a game. Yeah, it's fun. So there you go, light game, fun.